Ahoj a vítaj pri novom podcaste Chcem sa učiť. Ja som Andrea, lektorka anglického jazyka a dnes si budeme čítať ďalej knižku po anglicky. Konkrétne na Instagrame najviac z vás si vybralo knižku Robinson Crusoe. Predpokladám, že pretože je to taký známy príbeh, možno tým pádom vám to pomôže pri tom počúvaní, keď už viete približne, o čom to je, aby ste zachytili ten kontext. Každopádne, táto knižka je level 2. Ak chceš level 1, určite si nezabudni vypočuť predošlé podcasty, myslím, že ich je 5, kde si spoločne čítame knihu Čarodej z krajiny Oz. Tá je level 1, je trošku jednoduchšia v rámci slovnej zásoby. V tejto knihe už bude možno niekoľko slov novších, možno nejaká gramatika novšia, uvidíme. Stále je to síce pre začiatočníkov, ale o to lepšie sa ti to bude počúvať. Čo sa týka nových slov, tak je ich tu viacero, ktoré by mohli byť pre človeka, ktorý začína s angličtinou ešte takých úplne nových, takže rozhodla som sa, že keďže ich je už viac, takže ich vypíšem do blogu. Takže určite si choď ťuknúť na blog, na stránku www.chcemsaučiť.sk, kde nájdeš všetky naše podcasty, všetky články a v rámci podcastu tohto konkrétneho nájdeš aj slovnú zásobu po anglicky, ako sa to vyslovuje a s prekladom. Takže utekaj si to pozrieť, ak sa bojíš náhodou, že nebudeš rozumieť, aby si vedel, aké slovíčka sú nové, čo by tam mohlo byť také záľudné. A poďme teda na čítanie. Chapter 1. My first sea journey. Before I begin my story, I would like to tell you a little about myself. I was born in the year 1632 in the city of York in the north of England. My father was German, but he came to live and work in England. Soon after that, he married my mother, who was English. Her family name was Robinson, so when I was born, they called me Robinson after her. My father did well in his business, and I went to a good school. He wanted me to get a good job and live a quiet, comfortable life. But I didn't want that. I wanted adventure and an exciting life. I want to be a sailor and go to sea, I told my mother and father. They were very unhappy about this. Please don't go, my father said. You won't be happy, you know. Sailors have a difficult and dangerous life. And because I loved him and he was unhappy, I tried to forget about the sea. But I couldn't forget, and about a year later, I saw a friend in town. His father had a ship, and my friend said to me, "We're sailing to London tomorrow. Why don't you come with us?" And so, on September the 1st, 1651, I went to Hull, and the next day we sailed for London. But a few days later, there was a strong wind. The sea was rough and dangerous, and the ship went up and down, up and down. I was very ill and very afraid. "Oh, I don't want to die," I cried. "I want to live. If I live, I'll go home and never go to sea again." The next day the wind dropped, and the sea was quiet and beautiful again. "Well, Bob," my friend laughed, "how do you feel now? The wind wasn't too bad." "What?" I cried. "It was a terrible storm." "Oh, that wasn't a storm," my friend answered. "Just a little wind. Forget it. Come and have a drink." After a few drinks with my friend, I felt better. I forgot about the danger and decided not to go home. I didn't want my friends and family to laugh at me. I stayed in London for some time, but still I wanted to go to sea. So, when the captain of the ship asked me to go with him to Guinea in Africa, I agreed. And so I went to sea for the second time. It was a good ship and everything went well at first, but I was very ill again. Then, we were near the Canary Islands and a Turkish pirate ship came after us. They were famous thieves of the sea at the time. There was a long, hard fight, but when it finished, we and the ship were prisoners. The Turkish captain and his men took us to Salih in Morocco. They wanted to sell us as slaves in the markets there. But in the end, the Turkish captain decided to keep me for himself and took me home with him. This was a sudden and terrible change in my life. I was now a slave, and this Turkish captain was my master. Chapter 2. Down the coast of Africa. For 2 long years, I lived the life of a slave. I worked in the house and the garden, and every day I planned to escape, but it was never possible. I thought about it all day and night. My master liked to go fishing in a little boat, and he always took me with him. A man called Mowgli and a young boy also went with us. One day my master said to us, "Some of my friends want to go fishing tomorrow. Get the boat ready." So we put a lot of food and drink on the boat, and the next morning we waited for my master and his friends. But when my master arrived, he was alone. "My friends don't want to go fishing today," he said to me. "But you go with Mowgli and the boy and catch some fish for us for supper tonight." "Yes, master," I answered quietly, but inside I was excited. "Perhaps now I can escape," I said to myself. My master went back to his friends, and we took the boat out to sea. For a time we fished quietly, and then I moved carefully behind Mowgli and knocked him into the water. "Swim!" I cried. "Swim to the shore!" My master liked to shoot seabirds, and so there were guns on the boat. Quickly I took one of the guns. Mowgli was swimming after the boat, and I shouted to him, "Go back to the shore! You can swim there! It's not too far! I won't hurt you, but if you come near the boat, I'll shoot you through the head." So Mowgli turned and swam back to the shore as quickly as he could. Then I said to the boy, "Zuri, if you help me, I'll be a good friend to you. If you don't help me, I'll push you into the sea too." But Zuri was happy to help me. "I'll go all over the world with you," he cried. I wanted to sail to the Canary Islands, but I was afraid to go too far from the shore. It was only a small boat. And so we sailed on south for some days. We had very little water, and it was dangerous country here, with many wild animals. We were afraid, but we often had to go on shore to get more water. Once I used a gun to shoot a wild animal. I don't know what animal it was, but it made a good meal. Super, na dnes tu môžeme skončiť. V ďalšej časti budeme pokračovať a dozvieme sa, čo sa stalo s Robinsonom a s jeho priateľom, kde prišli, ako prišli, koho stretli a tak ďalej. Takže určite si to nenechaj ujsť. Na ďalšiu stredu vyjde nová epizóda, kde si to budeme ďalej čítať. Ale či už cez Instagram, Facebook alebo cez e-mail či náš web, kľudne mi napíš tvoju spätnú väzbu. Napíš mi, či to bolo príliš rýchle, pretože táto knižka je čítaná trošku rýchlejšie než tá predošla, takže určite mi daj vedieť, aby som vedela sa aj ja zariadiť podľa toho, čo je pre vás lepšie. Či čítanie rýchlejšie, či čítanie pomalšie. Daj mi vedieť, či si pochopila tomuto textu. Určite si nezabudni pozrieť tú slovnú zásobu na blogu www.chcemsaučiť.sk. No a teším sa na teba na budúce. So, see you later, alligator!